Hi friends, today let us do some questions which have come in SSC previous years. Right, these are some polity based questions. Let us do some of them. What is the highest law of the land? Obviously, land means India here. What is the highest law in this country? It is Indian Constitution. Constitution is basically a law also. These are all the Indian Penal Code, IPC section, Civil Procedure Code, etc. These are all used in courts, right? But ultimately, all these laws or all the acts in the country are defined by the Indian Constitution. The Constitution gives the framework on how we can create new laws, new acts in the country. And you see, frequently, some laws are actually debated in the Supreme Court, whether that law or that act, for example, recently electoral bonds, right, whether it is constitutionally valid or not, right. So, highest law in the country is actually the constitution, and other laws are decided whether they conform to the constitution or not. So, the correct answer here is Indian constitution, right. Next, the Constitution of India was framed by whom? Is it Planning Commission? Is it Constituent Assembly? Is it President? Or is it Working Committee? Right. So the President is actually a later addition. Once Constitution was created, it defined what is a president, who is a prime minister, etc. So before the Constitution of India came into picture, there is no president. Similarly, Planning Commission also. Planning Commission, this came after the Constitution, and this is not something that is even defined in the Constitution also. Right. So Planning Commission is not at all related to Constitution. Right. The correct answer here is Constituent Assembly. What is Constituent Assembly? Let us learn some details about this Constituent Assembly. Right. During our struggle for independence, India's independence, let us look at the chronology. 1934, for the first time, this gentleman, M.N. Roy, who is a communist, he called for a Constituent Assembly. Constituent Assembly is something like a parliament. Set of people. This is an assembly basically. Assembly means set of people, right? Set of people who can represent the country. Broadly, that is Constituent Assembly. More like current day parliament, right? So, first, M. N. Roy suggested that we should have our own people to rule the country, right? Then 1935, again Congress demanded something like this, right? And again after this actually 1940, after 5 more years, British agreed, and they gave an offer that will create a constituent assembly that is called August offer. Right, that is called British August offer. And in 1942, they sent a Cripps mission, and this mission gave a draft proposal for this constituent assembly. See the time. It's already been 8 years, right? For the from the first time when M. N. Roy proposed this, right? And finally, in November 1946, this is again after 4 years of this proposal, some finally it was created a constituent assembly. Constituent assembly. This is of 389 people. Basically, some of them are elected, some of them are nominated, basis different reasons, right? Different the population, the religion, etc., etc. Right? Some are nominated by princely states, some are nominated by British, etc. So ultimately, 389 people were selected, right? And this some elections happened, and 389 people were selected. Now, November 1946, these were selected, and they first met this assembly. These all people they met together. They had to meet together, and December 9th was the date. Right. But sadly, of this 389, only 211 people attended. Right. Not even everyone attended this meeting. Right. This is an assembly. Right. Like we have Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and all. Right. So only 211 people attended. Now, after one more month, these guys together they decided like nowadays politicians, that will take the country forward. We'll have a resolution, and they took a resolution. And each one of these people, they signed the resolution, and then they divided themselves into some committees, some major committees, some minor committees, etc. One of these committees is actually called a drafting committee. This drafting committee, what is the job of this committee? This committee has to draft a constitution. The drafting committee. The job of this drafting committee is to create a constitution. And who is the head of this committee? Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. He is called the chairman of this committee. And they have decided that on August 29, 1947, we will write a constitution. Right. And they started writing constitution. They started looking for constitutions of other countries. And finally, this entire 389 people together agreed on November 26, 1949, that the constitution written by these people, right, by the drafting committee, will accept it, right? And they accepted that. And once they accepted, they said, okay, we'll make it applicable from Jan 26, 1950, right? This date of acceptance, this you will see on the first page of the constitution. This is called constituent this date, right? Samvidhan Divas. This date is called Samvidhan Divas. And Jan 26 is the Republic Day. Right. It's more like this day is like I have placed the order, and this day is like Jan 26, like I have got the order delivered. Now I can use the product. Right. So this is the broadly what is the Constituent Assembly, what is the drafting committee, etc. Now here, so the Constitution of India was framed by Constitution of India was framed by it is Constituent Assembly. Right. Now let us look at some more questions which are related to this. The Indian Constitution was adopted on. When was it adopted? It was adopted on 26 November 1949. Right. Please remember this. So they started in 1947, and they took more than 2 years and finally created this. Right. So this happened in 1949, 26 November. This is called Samvidhan Devas. Right. And another related question, this came into force. The Indian Constitution came into force on. This is 26 Jan 1950. This is an important question. Right. Please remember 26 November 1949 and 26 Jan 1950. Right. Why 26 Jan 1950? Because because the Congress has already decided once in 1930 that 26 Jan is or Liberation Day, Purna Swaraj Day. They have already celebrated. So that's why they kept the same date for Constitution coming into force on 26 Jan 1950. Right. See, look at this SSC case. They mentioned 31st November also. Right. That's a funny question paper. Doesn't matter, right? Now, Jan 26 selected as date for the inauguration of Constitution. Why? Because the Congress has observed as the Independence Day. Purna Swaraj was already in 1930. So they want to keep the same date for the Constitution. That's why it is chosen as Jan 26. Right. Next. Constitution Day of India. What is this? That is 26 November. Samvidhan Divas. It is 26 November because that is the day on which the Constituent Assembly has signed or agreed that this will be our constitution going forward. Right. That's why 26 November is the day. The original Constitution of India was published in. Actually, this is published in Dehradun. The Constitution of India was actually published in Dehradun. Right, guys? Hope you like the questions. We'll pick up more questions in our subsequent videos. Thank you, guys.